What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news report. And in this report you will hear about many different news, but the main point of discussion is a brilliant article by the Bundesliga journalist Raphael Honigstein, who is saying that Timo Werner is hesitating between staying at Leipzig and accepting their new contract offer or moving to another club, and Liverpool are one of the favorites to sign Timo Werner. So Honigstein is saying that Timo Werner has yet to decide what he will do next, and Leipzig gave him a deadline of at the end of the season he has to decide what he will do, because if he doesn't sign a new contract by the end of the season, then Timo Werner will leave Leipzig, because Leipzig cannot afford to keep a player of Timo Werner's caliber at the club. Timo Werner only has 18 months on his contract and Leipzig cannot afford not to sell him in the summer, because they would lose out on 40 to 50 million euros. And then actually if Timo Werner turns down Leipzig's new contract, then Honigstein is saying that they are determined to sell him in the summer, preferably to a club outside of Germany. 40 to 50 million would be the transfer fee, and Leipzig are working on the assumption that Liverpool are firmly among his admirers. And actually this article by Honigstein is a very detailed, I will link it in the video's description. He is saying that according to a report in the German newspaper Bild, Leipzig have offered him a new improved deal which would about double his salary, and also this new deal would have a release clause in the region of 70 million euros, that's about like 60 million pounds, and also it would contain the 10 elite sides that could trigger that release clause. So not all the clubs can trigger that release clause, but the 10 elite clubs in world football can, and Liverpool and Manchester City are among those clubs. And Leipzig would prefer to sell him outside of Germany, because both Bayern Munich and Dortmund would be interested in Timo Werner, and even Werner himself hinted that a move to Bayern Munich would be a natural step up for a Leipzig player who wants to stay in Germany. And Werner so far hasn't explicitly said that he wants to stay in Germany. I think what he is doing here is he's keeping his options open, and he wants to see whether other top clubs would be interested in him. And I think Liverpool are definitely 100% interested in his services. And if Liverpool offer him a good contract, maybe he would go to Liverpool. Because why would you go to Bayern Munich when Lewandowski is still there? I think Timo Werner would have a much bigger and a much better chance to play as a starting striker in this Liverpool team, because Liverpool could actually start with Timo Werner right now, because we could have, against the majority of the sides in the Premier League, we could have Werner up front, Firmino behind him, Salah on the right, Mane on the left, and that is the 4-2-3-1 formation that Liverpool deployed against almost all of the other teams except the top six, and we could just replace Shaqiri with Werner in that system and put Werner up front, Firmino behind him, and Salah on the right wing. In this current state, Liverpool are playing with Salah up front, Shaqiri on the right, Mane on the left, and Firmino as a false 9 or as a number 10 behind Salah. So that formation could certainly work with Werner in the team, in my opinion. On the other hand, I just can't see Werner going to Bayern Munich and replacing Lewandowski, who is basically a club legend, and he's a really a top world-class striker, maybe a level above Timo Werner right now. And Lewandowski is also a well-established player at Bayern Munich, and he demands to play almost every week, so I can't see Werner going to Bayern Munich and play there every week, in my opinion. Also, Dortmund are not quite out of the race for Timo Werner yet. Dortmund chief executive Hans-Joachim Watzke said earlier that Werner would likely want to go elsewhere, but a change of heart on the players' side cannot be ruled out. So basically they are also keeping their options open. Honigstein is saying that Klopp's insistence on that the Liverpool squad is now complete would suggest that a fourth transition type forward for a total outlay of maybe 100 million euros if you count the wages of Timo Werner and the transfer fee. Maybe that is not a priority for Liverpool right now. And Honigstein is also saying that Liverpool are probably more interested in bringing in a versatile centre-back who can deputize and play in many different positions. Somebody like Joe Gomez can do, but Liverpool have a defensive injury crisis as well. And we have very bad news, guys. James Pearce has broken the news that Van Dijk has missed training with an illness. So he's not like injured in terms of he doesn't have a muscle or a bone injury or anything like that, but he's maybe got the flu or something, and he missed training yesterday. And if he misses training today as well, then James Pearce is saying that Van Dijk will miss the Leicester game. And we are really struggling at the back at the moment. You know, Alexander-Arnold is out injured, Milner is suspended, so probably Fabinho will play right back. We have Matip fit, we have Lovren just coming back from injury, and maybe Lovren will play alongside Matip, but Gomez is still not fit either. So we might, if we have to rely on Matip and maybe Fabinho at the back and play Rafael Camacho at right back, that would be... Oh man, I would be really worried because Leicester have some dangerous players. So I really hope that Van Dijk recovers from that illness and he can play against Leicester City. But it's at the moment very 50-50. We don't know yet if he will be fit or not, but I will keep you posted. If you look at this situation in purely the tactical terms, few attacking players look as perfect a fit for the explosive style favored at Liverpool as Timo Werner, because just like his potential teammates, Werner thrives on spaces to attack, just like Salah, Firmino and Mane. He attacks in quick bursts and often looks most dangerous without the ball. By Premier League standards, his price tag looks almost cheap, Honigstein saying, especially if his high resale value is considered. And yes, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will be back in March, but Liverpool could really do with a proven goal scorer who could be able to fill any of the three forward positions, because what if one of Salah, Firmino or Mane gets injured? Liverpool have Shaqiri, yes, we have Naby Keita who could maybe play in one of those forward positions, and we have Sturridge and Origi. But apart from maybe Shaqiri and Naby Keita, you know, the other players don't represent the same amount of quality. And even Naby Keita, I'm not sure if he would be able to score 10-15 goals if he was played in one of the front three positions. And 11 goals in 19 league games so far this season has been a very good return for Timo Werner. But if you just take a look at his career so far, in the past 2 or 3 seasons he always scored about 20 goals per season, and he's only 23 years old. Let's not forget that he's very young still. He can still improve and get even better. So I'm really hoping that Timo Werner rejects a contract from Leipzig and signs for Liverpool in the summer, because if he doesn't sign a new contract, Werner would be available for about 50 million euros, which is about 42 million pounds, and that would be just a real bargain for a player who could turn into a world-class attacker under Jurgen Klopp. And as we said, tactically he would fit right in to this Liverpool team, so I really hope that this comes through. The Daily Star is reporting that Divock Origi is wanted on loan by French club Nantes, but they are reluctant to pay his full wages, and I'm not sure if Jurgen Klopp would let Origi out on loan, because look at what happened when we let Nathan Clyne out on loan. We got Alexander-Arnold injury and also James Milner suspended for the Leicester game, so we would be happy if we had Nathan Clyne. I already said my opinion in previous videos on that transfer or loan decision by Jurgen Klopp. I didn't agree with it, but I could see why he made it. I'm not sure if we should let out any more players out on loan who play in the first team, because we would need all the players that we can have for the title run in. And Divock Origi made some vital contributions this season, especially his 95th or 96th minute winner against Everton was a huge goal in our season to keep the momentum going. Also, Lazar Markovic could leave Liverpool this January. Several clubs are looking at him, but nobody has made a formal offer yet. But Liverpool expect him to depart in January if a formal offer comes in. Ben Woodburn, who has been back training with Liverpool, he is looking to join Hull City on loan after, you know, his Sheffield United loan spell didn't work out. But Ben Woodburn would be only able to join Hull City if there are guarantees of him playing a certain amount of games in the Hull City first team, because there is no point for him to go out on loan and to just sit on the bench of any kind of championship club. So I really hope that he goes out on loan and plays, because just look at how Harry Wilson and Ryan Kent, they are thriving at Derby County and Rangers respectively, and they are really scoring goals, getting a lot of experience. And even if they don't make it at Liverpool, those loan spells would stand them in good stead in the future, and they could you know, move to other clubs and really contribute. And Spanish outlet AS are reporting that one of Timo Werner's teammates of RB Leipzig, the player is called Dayot Upamecano. He is just 20 years old and he has made a massive impression in Germany since arriving from Red Bull Salzburg, the like kind of a brother club of Leipzig. They are sponsored by the same company. In 2017 he arrived there, and their report is saying that also Liverpool and other clubs are reportedly tracking his progress. And he is just an exceptionally strong player who can also play football, and who is really maybe the next great talented centre-back. He has similar physical attributes to Virgil van Dijk and Kalidou Koulibaly. It's just a player worth to keep an eye on, in my opinion. So maybe watch a couple of Leipzig games and just decide for yourself whether he's good enough to play for Liverpool. But he is definitely a player that we should just put on the transfer shortlist and just watch him develop in the coming years, and maybe in 1 or 2 years we could move for him, because I think it's much better to sign a player when he is up and coming. Like, imagine if we signed Virgil van Dijk when he signed for Southampton. We could have had him for a much lower amount. Whether when you sign the likes of Van Dijk or Koulibaly and the peak of their powers, they cost 50, 60, 70 million pounds. Just imagine if we signed them when they were younger and had the same you know, talent. I think Liverpool should maybe make one of those transfers to sign a young player just before they get world class. But that's what all the big clubs are trying to do, and that's why, you know, the transfers are always tricky, because there is always a certain amount of gamble. You don't know how that young player will adapt to the new country, the new language, the new club, the new league, everything else. But so far Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have been spot on with their transfer business, so I'm really hoping that we continue to make good transfers, because we can't waste a lot of money like clubs like Manchester United, Man City and maybe Chelsea can do. We don't have unlimited funds, so I really hope that Liverpool sign somebody like Virgil van Dijk or Kalidou Koulibaly, but who is a little bit younger, in the next 2 years. That would be my dream. Anyway, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.